I'm just wondering, any tips for how to get the pastel where you want it?
How to get it
Other
where you
than,
want it.
yeah, I'm not very practiced. I'm not very familiar with soft pastels. I'm finding, yeah,
That
blobs and
that when you make a
where
mark, it's not going on where you intended to make the mark.
maybe 50, 60% of the time it is, and the rest it isn't.
Okay, it's a lot of practice, and
Oh,
frequently, I think even subconsciously, like if I'm like I'm just dabbing away with this blue. If I'm coming close to the face, uh, I'm dabbing it here, so I know where it's making the mark. I know how it's targeting, and so then I can bring it closer over here and target it where I want it without like getting it over on top of the sheep. You see? So a lot of times it's
yeah.
like you pick an area where you want it to go, have your first target area be a little larger to give yourself some leeway to see where is this
Ah,
pastel going to go. And then once you know where
yeah.
that mark is being made, you kind of have, it's almost like driving or riding a bike. It's like you need to sort of reinforce that muscle sort of response, that eye hand uh, coordination thing, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
the other thing you can do is you know, if you have a stick of pastel, say even if it's not a fresh stick, and you just find where there's an area that you want to, you know, make your mark with, and then aim it carefully where you want it, and then make your mark. Um, Now that's, you know, for small works especially, if you're not used to working small, I can understand how working small is going to be a little more frustrating with like making your mark and getting it where you want it to go. Um,
Hmm.
the If you work a little larger, then your strokes can be a little bigger without it looking as messy. So that might be something that you'll just need
Yeah.
to figure out for yourself how you know, what's your favorite size of working or whatever. If you really want to work small, then you can, you know, start off with hard pastels. There's like Rembrandts are hard pastels. I like Rembrandts when they're new. They have that nice little edge that you can really like see where it's going and make a crisp mark with it. Um, if you have some of the other hard pastels are, let me see if I can find. Oh well, here's a box of the new pastels, which I don't use anymore very much. These are called oops, these are called new pastels. NUPASTEL. There are other hard brands like Cretacolor, and I think Jack Richardson has a brand has a make. But the hard pastels are typically like square and thin and long, like a full. Here's a full stick. So most artists will break them down into pieces that they want to, you know, like if you break. I like pieces that are about an inch, a little under an inch long, or like I said, it's about 2 centimeters or whatever. So you can make a mark with the edge of it like this and make a fat like stroke, or you can make a mark with one of the short sides and make a little a narrower stroke, or you can make a mark with like the corner and make a crisp line. And so those are really good to start off with. Plus hard pastels have more control. They're not as soft. Uh, I mean, I have more experience, so the soft pastels
Hmm.
are like more luscious, I find. You can get a stronger stroke and a more intense color out of them. But as far as control goes, you should definitely invest in at least one set, even if it's just a small set of hard pastels, because they will be easier to control, especially in those areas where you want to get more detail, more crispness happening. Uh, and what you can also do with hard pastels is you can use them in combination with your softer pastels. If you feel like you have no control with the soft ones, that's going to come with practice. But meanwhile, you can paint what you need to paint, get those luscious colors in, get those nice thick strokes in with the soft pastels, and then you can go in with the hard pastel and tweak the areas, edges. You can smooth out edges. You
Mm.
can like glaze a little bit here and there to blend some stuff together. Hard pastels are excellent blenders and you know, for tweaking and stuff too. So that would be my main advice, especially if you really do love pastels. It does get easier with practice.
Yeah. The soft pastels are the ones that I love the feel of. And every time I try a hard pastel, I'm just like, ugh, I don't like it.
Yeah. Hard pastel doesn't get as much pigment out in a stroke, and it takes a stronger stroke to get color, unless you're working hard pastels on the bare surface, like especially if you have a sanded surface. A lot of people start with hard pastels on a sanded surface, especially if they have a heavy hand, because the hard pastel will stick really nicely without overfilling the tooth, whereas a soft pastel will really fill up your tooth fast if you press too heavy. I think my main problem right now is not pressing heavy enough sometimes. Let's see.
Do you find it difficult to switch between the soft pressure or the really light pressure and needing to use a bit firmer pressure?
No. After like, I mean, I've been using pastel since I was 11.
Yeah.
So I can't even remember really when, I guess a couple decades ago when I first tried Schmenke, I still have a box of Schmenke over my drawer and I have not pulled them out. I haven't used any. Although I have Blue Earth now and I love the Blue Earth, so I probably would love the Schmenke now. But at the time that I tried the Schmenke, they are the softest on the market. And it was just like way too soft for me at that time. But in my own experience, the more experience I've gained, the more my preference has gone to softer and softer pastels. So I think with that control of pressure that is learned, the softer pastels are easier to work with. But going from one to the other, I don't have any issues with that at all. I mean, I'll pick up a piece and as soon as I make a mark, I'll be like, oh, this is hard. This is a hard pastel. Do I want that here? Maybe it'll work. And I'll just like, either I'll go with it and I'll use it, or I'll be like, oh, no, I want something softer for that. And so I'll pick something softer. So it's, I just jump back and forth. I'll use, all kinds of hardness and softnesses wherever I happen to want to use them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you know what you're using and how you're using it and what it'll do for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so experience and familiarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, way back before I got my my Heilmann box, where I put all my pastel, all the different brands in here by value and temperature. Before I did that, I used to have I'd have my box of Unisons here, and I'd have my new pastels here, and I'd have my Rembrandts, and then I had like Great American Artworks or whatever. I had like some various brands, and I'd have them all in their own boxes, and they were not organized they were just in their boxes, just disorganized. But I knew what I wanted to get. I knew if I wanted to use this particular Rembrandt or this particular Unison, I knew where it was. Yeah. And when I filled this up with all the different brands mixed, it did take me about 2 or 3 months to finally get used to, like, for a while I was like, where's that Unison blue? That was my favorite blue. Which one is it? And I couldn't find. But after a while, you learn to recognize them from the shape, from the color. Like now I know which ones in here, I know which ones are my favorites because they're all the small ones. They're tiny because I've used them up. So I tend to gravitate to those tiny ones because I know that I love them because they're tiny. That means I've used them a lot. So even if I don't even know what they are anymore, I'll know that I love them,